Hey guys, it's Malcolm with Automotive Addicts. Today I have the 2020 Toyota Camry TRD. Now the TRD version of the Toyota Camry, I have to say it is a little sporty. It does look nice. They've done quite a few different accents. You got the lower rocker panels there, the 19-inch black wheels, got the blacked out roof, got a black spoiler in the back, neat little diffuser back there, and best of all is the TRD catback exhaust system they have on this car. Now the Toyota Camry TRD does only come in the V6 model. Essentially the TRD Camry is basically an SE trim with the V6 engine, which has made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, as far as a Camry being a sports car, it's far from it. I mean, talking a front-wheel drive V6 car. Granted, you have 301 horsepower and 267 pound-feet of torque. It's not a slouch. It gets up and moves for a front-wheel drive vehicle for a smaller sedan that it is. But the TRD appearances add quite a bit to the overall styling, as you can see. There's that nice diffuser down here. Got your catback exhaust system. Now, once I take it for a drive, you'll notice the driving character of the TRD Camry is a little bit different than any other Camry because it has different tuned suspension and the 19-inch wheels, of course, and that catback exhaust. Now, I don't know if the catback exhaust actually adds any power. I'm gonna say it doesn't, but it does add some nice sturdy sounds to the car. And I'll try to get that on camera once we take it for a ride. So just a couple other traits about the TRD Camry. The red calipers for the brakes. Now the brakes are slightly upgraded from the normal Camry. Up front you have 2 piston calipers. Now at the heart of this Toyota Camry TRD is the familiar 3.5 liter V6 engine, which is 301 horsepower, 267 pound-feet of torque. But otherwise, what you see here, the look of the TRD Camry, it's pretty flashy. Not sure many people are gonna like this aggressive look unless you're like a lighthearted enthusiast, but take it for what it is. Got your LED headlights up front, your radar for your radar, adaptive cruise control up front, neat little blacked out grille. We'll go ahead and hop inside. So inside the 2020 Toyota Camry TRD with the V6 engine, we'll go ahead and start it up. Now right off the bat in starting the TRD Camry, you'll notice that exhaust note, which I do like, to tell you the truth. The interior of the 2020 Toyota Camry is somewhat basic in a sense. The TRD version of the Camry adds a little bit of spice to it. You have a lot of red accent stitching. You got these unique seats, these red stitch inserts here. And the gauge cluster, you have these fixed gauges, the RPM and the speedometer on the right. They have the red background, and you have this smallish color LCD screen in the middle for vehicle information. You have automatic high beams, LED headlights, automatic, radar, cruise control, your adaptive cruise control, lane departure, warning, and assist. And over here, moving to the infotainment screen, it's a 7-inch screen in this particular Camry. Like I said, this is more of like a SE trim, excuse me, more of a SE trim with the V6 engine. And with that, you don't get that many added on amenities and features. There are no heated seats, there are no ventilated seats, unfortunately. The climate control is a single zone climate control system. It is automatic, but it's a single zone. The infotainment screen is somewhat improved over what it used to be. You do have these screens that are somewhat configurable in the home screen. It is very responsive. You do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto integration. But overall, the interior is pretty basic for a Toyota Camry. You do have these 3 drive modes: Eco, Normal, and Sport. They're very subtle in the changes. Sport mode does hold the gears, does hold the lower gears much longer. And down here you do have a single USB port and a charging cigarette lighter adapter port. But down here you do have 2 additional USB charging ports. Unfortunately, out back there are no vents for the climate control, and there are no charging ports. Overall, in the TRD Camry, what you will notice is several logos, the TRD logo letting you know once again that this is a TRD Camry and it's special, I guess. So moving to the back, you don't have a cup holder or armrest here. You do have these nice red seat belts. Open up the trunk. Once again, another Camry TRD logo. Alright, setting off in the 2020 Toyota Camry TRD. Of course, the people that don't know what TRD means is Toyota Racing Development. Probably see it plastered all over some of the NASCAR vehicles, trucks, their Toyota Tundras and Tacomas. Now, as far as the TRD Camry goes, I like rough riding vehicles, very firm, they can handle well, and TRD actually improves the handling of the Camry with the unique suspension system that it has. They are fixed dampers, spring rates are different than the normal Camrys, and having that V6 engine is somewhat of a joy to drive. Now, I will tell you one thing I do like about the TRD Camry is the exhaust note. It has a nice throaty sound to it, kind of brings out some of the flavor of the V6 engine. It's very predictable as far as power output. It's very well planned for a front-wheel drive vehicle. The front wheels don't break loose as much as I remember in the other V6 trims of the Toyota Camry, which I've driven before. And having this V6 is more of a joy over the 2.5 four-cylinder engine that the Camry otherwise comes with in the lower trim models. And like I said, this one is more of a stripped-out car, being the SE trim, which is mid-level trim for the Toyota Camry, but it adds the V6 engine and of course all the appearances, the suspension, and the exhaust for the TRD version. I wouldn't confuse the TRD version of the Camry being anything really enthusiastic. Enthusiasts aren't really going to buy something like this. It's more for the people that want something different to stand out in the conservative level of, buying a Camry. Who's your normal Camry buyer? Think of that person and think of the ones that are somewhat younger, or, it could be somebody older who wants something more, sporty in a sense for a Camry. I mean, this is the sportiest Camry there is, unless you go aftermarket. I have to give kudos for Toyota for making something like this. They even went the extra step of tuning the exhaust so it's a nice, pleasant sound where it doesn't drone much on the highway. Driving highway speeds on the car, it doesn't drone much in the back at all, even though it's a catback exhaust. The V6 engine is always a joy in these vehicles. It's a proven V6. The 3.5 liter it's just a sewing machine, basically. It's reliable. You have that Toyota quality, and the engine being mated to that 8-speed automatic is pretty straightforward. Now, I will say the shift paddles on the steering wheel are more of a novelty than anything in the Toyota Camry. When you actually switch it over to the sport shifting mode on the shifter and want to use the paddles, the transmission still does what it wants to do. See, I just hit the paddle for 5th gear and it's still shifting by itself. One of those weird things, I hit the paddle again, 8th gear, and it's still like in 6th gear. Yeah, one of those confusing things about the Toyota Camry. But I guess it's more of a marketing selling point than anything, because these paddles are pretty much worthless. Coming up to my straightaway, I'll do a 0 to 60 test just like in any other car I get. The Toyota Camry, surprisingly, the V6 hits 60 miles per hour in about 5.8 seconds, give or take. But here we go. Got a little bit of wheel spin, traction control just caught it, up to 40, 50, and 60. The V6 is great. I mean, you can't beat the Camry V6 for being a reliable engine and a predictable engine as far as the power output goes. At the end of the day, there's not much to dwell on the Toyota Camry. It is what it is, one of the best-selling sedans still, in the nation. And I see why. Very well-built vehicle. There's no rattles. The chassis is very rigid. Especially having this TRD version of the Camry, you can really feel the rigidity of the chassis in the Toyota Camry. When it comes to pricing, Toyota Camry starts around $26,000, $25,000 for the 4-cylinder version. Moving to this particular model, the TRD Camry with the V6, of course, is the only way it comes. You're looking about $33,000 out the door. It actually sounds pretty good, surprisingly, with the catback exhaust. It's probably one of the best sounding V6s for this class of vehicle you'll find. I'll go ahead and say it's probably the best sounding mid-size, probably the best sounding sedan in this class that you will find, as being a conservative mainstream sedan. Kudos to Toyota and TRD. I want to ask you guys the question, is this something you would buy, or somebody would buy a TRD Camry? I mean, $32,000, $33,000, it's not that bad. Put your comments down below, let me know. Otherwise, make sure you like the video and subscribe. Come back often, check out my next videos. I'll have some neat stuff coming to you guys. But until then, I will catch you on the next one.